My, what a bad day for Uber and Lyft. More so Uber than Lyft, but, bad for both.
Xbox,
Twitter, Uber,
Postmates,
Netflix, MoviePass,
Google, Facebook, eBay,
DoorDash,
Apple, Amazon, Airbnb,
The Apptrepreneur. Hey everyone, this is Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, and you know what? It's been such a bad day. We've got a few stories to talk about, and I want to talk about them as uninterrupted as possible. So hopefully my sponsors will forgive the abrupt transition to their sponsored spot. I definitely appreciate their continued support, but I don't want to be interrupted on this one. I think we definitely need to talk about this one straight through as much as we can. So let's have a word from those sponsors, who again have been very good to me, and we will get on with today's stories. Times are changing for gig workers and the gig economy, and there are a lot more gigs from a lot more companies than there used to be. That's why when people ask me where they can go to find resources for the gig economy, I recommend gigworker.com. At this site, you can see what other gig workers are doing and discover better opportunities from industries, companies, resources, and even a forum where you can talk with other people in the gig economy. Gigworker.com is a great resource site, whether you work for Uber, Lyft, Postmates, DoorDash, TaxRabbit, Thumbtack, Upwork, whatever. There's a gig for you and there's a forum for you on gigworker.com. Gigworker.com for all your gigs. So the first thing we're obviously going to talk about today, because a lot of people have been talking about it on the forums and everything, is the fact that Uber and Lyft's stock is pretty much at an all-time low. It is actually conceivable that as you watch this, it's very, very possible it will be trading below $30 a share. And what just happened to my screen? There we go. Okay. So here's the article. Uber and Lyft close at record lows as investors lose faith in ride-sharing companies. According to the article, shares of Uber and Lyft fell to fresh lows on Tuesday, posting their lowest close ever as the ride-hailing companies face growing skepticism from investors. Uber closed down 5.7% to $30.70, falling below its previous low of $32.57 on August 30th. Early in the day, the shares hit an intraday all-time low of $30.67. Lyft experienced a similarly steep drop, ending the day down 7.2% to $45.42. You know, Lyft is getting just close enough that I might just buy a share. That's definitely my, just to say I do. Compared to its previous day low of $48.50 on May 13th, the stock dropped as low as $45.40 on Tuesday, touching a new intraday low. Both companies have had a particularly rough ride on the public markets since their prospective IPOs early this year, as investors continue to question whether Uber and Lyft can achieve profitability in the future. No. I mean, here's the thing. You don't want to invest in a company that says we might be profitable by 2021. There's a lot of room for things to go wrong at that point. Uber and Lyft were trading on Tuesday more than 30% below their IPO prices of $45 and $32 a share, respectively. And as you can see, there's like a guy I don't know if he's talking specifically about Uber and Lyft, but yep, there's the business that looks just like an Uber and Lyft stock. And here's the thing. Uber themselves aren't even the biggest losers in this because they kind of technically expect to lose money. Where they get hurt is the fact that the people who invested in them are losing truckloads of money, and this is what makes it hard for them to continue to, sell stock. Because SoftBank, which they made a huge deal about, bought like this huge stake in Uber, I'm kind of wondering if they're like not regretting that a little bit, because they have lost more than $600 million on Uber as an investment. So here's what this article says. Uber's plunging stock price has left its biggest stakeholder in the red. SoftBank, which poured about $7.6 billion into Uber in early 2018 after the ride-hailing company suffered a series of bruising gaffes, has seen the value of its stake dwindle by the day. Uber shares fell almost 6% on Tuesday, dropping for the 8th time in 9 trading sessions as they head for a record low close. The stock has lost 1/3 of its value since its May IPO. So, Uber is at the centerpiece of SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son's plan to build up a portfolio of next-generation transportation companies that, in his view, are all moving towards a future of artificial intelligence and autonomy. While gyrations in Uber's share price are unlikely to alter Son's thesis, the company's mounting losses and unclear path towards financial stability are proving unappealing to public market investors. This is true. So, yep, there you go. I think this was the day, no, it can't be the day because this was June, July. But yeah, no, it's really tanked. By the way, I did buy it about here. So yeah, I'm definitely losing money on that one share. But here's the thing that I'm going to tell people right now. First of all, again, I never bought this stock to make a lot of money. I actually anticipated it would go away. But by buying it above just a little above what the IPO price was, it makes it really easy for me to track how much value the company has lost. So it's kind of a weird blessing in disguise if you look at it from that perspective. So here's the thing. The stock, whatever, that's not even Uber's and Lyft's biggest concern. This is. California's AB5 gig work bill gets key backing from Governor Gavin Newsom. This is especially important because I was frankly unclear where Governor Newsom standed on all of this. And for more transparency's sakes, I do not like this man. I just don't. I'm sorry. I think... Don't even get me started on him. Don't get me started. But whether I like him or not, I was not certain what his stance on AB5 was. I knew that he was getting cozy with Uber and Lyft. However, he is someone who it seems like, especially if he wants to win a re-election in a couple of years, would probably want the middle class everyday man on his side voting for him. So I was frankly unsure what he was going to do about this bill once it reached his desk, and we might finally have an answer. Governor Gavin Newsom jumped directly into one of California's hardest fought legislative battles of the year, calling on lawmakers to pass a gig work bill that would reclassify hundreds of thousands of independent contractors as company employees covered by labor laws. Newsom said tech companies and other employers have eroded people's basic labor protections by wrongly classifying them as independent contractors. Which, of course, begs the question, if they're wrongly classifying them in the first place, why can't you force them to, not wrongly classify them? It's always weird. Like, my Uncle Mike, who used to be my neighbor, had this saying, we don't need new laws, we just need to enforce the laws that are on the books. It sure seems like this is one of those cases where it's like, hey, it's been decided by several courts that we are not independent contractors, we don't act like them, we don't have the freedom that independent contractors do. Why can't we just enforce the laws that are on the books to protect the employees of Uber and Lyft? Because that's what we are. We are employees. If you are continuing to drive them right now, instead we have to do this in new bill. I'll never completely understand it. But anyway, employers shirk responsibility to safety net programs like workers' compensation and unemployment insurance. Taxpayers are left to foot the bill, Newsom wrote in an op-ed piece published on Labor Day in the Sacramento Bee. Reversing the trend of misclassification is a necessary and important step to improve the lives of working people. That's why this Labor Day I am proud to be supporting Assembly Bill 5, which extends critical labor protections to more workers by curbing misclassification. It was the first time that he had explicitly endorsed the bill by San Diego Democratic Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez. The measure would reclassify gig workers such as Lyft and Uber, ride-hailing drivers, along with many other independent contractors as employees with protections and benefits. So, yeah. Here, if the AB5 passes final votes in state Senate and Assembly, it could be on Newsom's desk before the legislature adjourns for the year on September 13th. So September 13th, that's 10 days away. Well, 9 by the time you're watching this video. But yeah, that's 9 days away. And Uber and Lyft drivers could be reclassified as employees unless Uber and Lyft, of course, actually give us the freedoms that true independent contractors have. But the measure faces fervent opposition from tech companies. Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash warned last week that they would spend at least $90 million to sponsor a ballot initiative to overturn the measure if it passes. The company said they would instead ask voters to approve an initiative in November 2020 that would keep drivers as independent contractors while providing them with some benefits and earnings guarantees. Yeah, they really don't want this to pass. While we continue to advocate for this progressive framework, circumstances are forcing us to plan for legislative inaction by laying the groundwork for this. No, you don't. You never advocated for, what was the term they used? Progressive framework circumstances. They can dress anything up, can't they? No, you had years to fix this. You didn't bother. Now you're going to spend our money, like the people who drive. You're going to spend the driver's hard-earned money to basically fund a piece of legislation, a bill on the ballot that would be detrimental to drivers. Yeah, you gotta love this company. You really got to love this company. Anyway, organized labor has mobilized workers in support of AB5. Of course they have. So, yeah, we're gonna have to find out in 10 days whether or not this actually becomes a thing. Now, what happens if Newsom signs the bill before it gets put on the ballot? I guess it's possible. I don't know how fast you could put it on the ballot. I mean, unfortunately, they probably have the signatures that they need to put this measure on the ballot. I mean, I'm sorry to say, like, that little rally that we went to in front of the state capitol a month or so ago, if you put your name on a list to get free food, you signed a petition. That's enough names to probably put the initiative on the ballot. It really is. I mean, here's the thing. Once Newsom signs it, if he signs it, then before they get it on the ballot, then I think it's a done deal. I don't think there's anything Uber and Lyft or DoorDash or Postmates can do about it at that point, if I'm not mistaken. But they will definitely push to have it on the ballot before he signs it. And I think that might be why he's actually voicing his concern. That's why he's saying, hey, get it passed, get it on my desk. I want to sign it before they actually do this. Maybe that's him pushing because he knows that if they wait beyond September 13th, it might be too late and we might vote on it. And Uber and Lyft will spend a lot of money to basically make it seem like this is the worst thing in the world. And they only have to say one thing to get voters to vote against AB5. Hey, your Uber and Lyft is going to be more expensive. All they need to say. All they need to say. And then that thing fails. It absolutely fails. Here's the thing. There is no subtlety in politics for a lot of people. I mean, they look at things like the new Green Deal and the wall, and they just look at it in the most basic, simplistic terms like, this fulfills a basic emotional need of mine. And if they actually read how these things were going to be implemented, they would realize they don't get executed the way you want them to be. That's how AB5 fails if voters have to vote on it. All Uber and Lyft have to say is, hey, your prices are going up, and we're taking away the driver's freedom to boot. Is it true? Doesn't matter. It absolutely will not matter. So yes, I hope Sacramento, the people at the Capitol, my hometown, Esquire IMAX across the street, one of the best IMAXs in the world, by the way. I hope they pass this soon, and I hope Newsom is serious about passing it, and hopefully he can do so before the ballot is, like the initiative is on the ballot. Hopefully. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave this right now. What says you? What do you think of this news? What do you think of what's going on? I would love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices get you just a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. If you want more content from me that's not rideshare related, check me out at Kevin T. Rodriguez, the Apptrepreneur Vlogs, and Autograph Hound. And finally, if you want to talk to me or other fellow rideshare drivers out there, check us out at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.